What on earth is happening with the whole fucking world? I mean, I don't know. I sit at home, I watch my TV, and I see people like Tony Blair and Jack Straw and God knows who else talking about the war, and saying this is good and this is why we're doing it, and they give you statistics, and they produce reports and whatever, and it's a very persuasive argument. But on the other side, you've got Michael Howard and conservatives and liberal Democrats who also produce statistics and reports and arguments, and they all sound very persuasive. So how on earth can you ever know what's right? Because there's arguments on both sides, and you can't watch the newspapers or the news or anything because they're all biased and they've all got their own agendas as well. So it's just crazy. We're all repressed and we can't possibly make an informed choice about anything. So basically, politics is a guess. I mean, what on earth's happening in America? Anyone that can throw up a person like George Bush as a leader, it's crazy. How can you possibly respect someone whose strength as a leader is that he's like one of you? He's like just an ordinary guy, and that's not what I want from my leaders. I want people to be fucking superhuman, the most intelligent people on the planet. That's what it's got to be if you're going to run a country. And what on earth is happening with, I don't know, the environment? Our whole attitude towards anything is just, if it breaks, we just throw it away. We live in this crazy disposable world, and it's just cheaper to knock down a house and build another one rather than building a great one in the first place. At supermarkets, I go to supermarkets, they give you plastic bags or anything, and we can't keep using plastic bags. If you reuse your plastic bags, we don't need to build more. We need less oil and to make the plastic to make them from, so then we're less dependent on foreign energy sources or using up our natural resources, and so that means the world is a safer place. It's a better place. It's crazy, this whole, these idea of different cultures. Just people see things. The whole way of looking at the world is about looking at differences between people as a way of dividing them rather than bringing people together. There's whether it's like racism or homophobia or whatever it is. People are looking at pushing people apart rather than bringing them together. And I understand that it's human nature to fear the unusual, and that as a society we demonize the things that we don't understand. But we've got to make an effort to understand them. That's why we've got to get into Europe and build closer links with other countries. We're all different islands, and people make islands for themselves, and we've got to build bridges between those islands. We've got to bring people together. That's what it's got to be about. We've got to respect other cultures and get them together. And we're in this crazy world where things like that doesn't happen. Like phones, we've got telephones that are just, people use phones as a way of keeping each other at a distance, but at the same time admitting that they still need each other. We've got to get past that. We can't be a society of people that at the end of a day we just go and retreat into our safe little houses and shut the curtains and never speak to anyone. We've got to come together. We've got to build community. That's what we've got to do. We can't have these situations where people say one thing and mean another. It just fucks me off when people say they're going to do something and they don't do it. It's like, if I ask you to do something you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. I have no problem with that. But if you say you are going to do it, I go off and make arrangements based on that, and then you don't do it, then it just completely undermines everything. We've got to say what we mean and do what we say and be passionate about the things we do. We've got to have passion. That's what there isn't in the world. People don't care about things. It's just this kind of epidemic of apathy that's crossing the whole planet, and it's just, and I don't know, it's just I don't know. I sit here and I talk about these things, and people for years have made these same arguments, and it doesn't make any difference. And whether anybody will ever listen to this or just, no one changes their mind based on anything anyway. So, you can debate as much as you like, but in the end, it's not going to make any change. People don't change who they are. So things like this, in the end, I guess it's just a waste of breath. It's just silly.